We've got some
Hey,
fresh new
I'm
young
Luis.
talent
And
doing
I'm
some things
Luis.
that I know
And you're
you haven't
listening to the
heard
Content
before.
is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit. And today we're bringing them to you so you can take action immediately and start creating content momentum.
Let's go. So if you'd like to learn how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com. There's a little surprise in there for you.
That is right.
You can go now. Yeah.
That's right. And today's, guys, how to crush prospecting and approach people in a genuine way.
Man, this
Love
is
it.
such a relevant topic for us right now on the stage that we are in our business. So I can't wait to dive in. But before that, Fonzie, do we have a sponsor today?
We do indeed. And today's
Let's
sponsor
go.
is your one and only The Biz Bros with Content Momentum. And what is content momentum? You may be asking yourself, well, if you have a long form piece of content, just like this one that you're listening to, or you might be watching it right now, we can turn it into value pack bite-sized assets. So then you can go ahead, send it into the social media like little minions and get you some clients.
That's
so if you're
right.
interested, slide in the DMs at BizBrosCo on Instagram, on Facebook. We want to help you out.
Awesome.
I'm surprised that I remember the whole thing.
That was good. That was good.
Thank
That
you.
was good.
Appreciate it.
Also, guys, if you want to support us and the show, please go ahead and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button and let us know what you think in the reviews.
Yeah, that's right.
that it?
Yeah,
That it?
no,
Did I
no,
say it right? Okay, there we
that's
go.
not quite it. I think you skipped a few steps. So guys,
all good. It's all
if
good.
you
It's Friday.
find
It's
this
Friday.
episode impactful, which I am sure you will, because today's guest, he's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review.
I gotta
There we
do the
go.
double
Thank you.
and. I know,
Yeah, you
man.
gotta
I completely messed up.
gotta
It's
get on
Friday.
the
It's
flow.
Friday. So episode 99. Can you even believe it? And of course, before we reach the 3-digit mark for the podcast, we had to bring an epic guest. Today's
Oh,
guest
yeah.
is the other half of one of our favorite team of entrepreneurs out there. Hint. We talked about his partner in our last episode.
Oh, yeah. So if you guys haven't listened to that one, go back and listen to it. As you guys know by now, content is profit. I mean, I hope you know that by, 99
After
episodes that
99
we've done.
episodes and 8 months of
And
doing
just
this.
as we discussed in our last episode, content and sales are the perfect marriage. Oh yeah, baby. Well, today's guest is ready to shatter all those false perceptions around sales and help you understand on a deeper level the power of sales.
Just so you know, since talking to today's guest and his awesome partner, I see everything in my life as sales. Really?
Yes.
Do I see that?
I wrote that, guys.
Okay.
Keep reading. It's
that,
a fun
was
one.
good. That was good. Okay. Do I need to convince my wife to get me extra pizza rolls at the grocery store? That's like you. You are the one that eats all the pizza rolls. Okay. Sales mode on. But that aside, you are in for a treat. Today's guest
Pun
has
intended.
What?
Pizza rolls.
Oh, wow.
Treat.
Okay.
Pun intended.
Wow. Today's guest has built 3 different companies in 3 different industries to 1 million in revenue. Impressive. Oh, and let's not forget he competed in American Ninja Warrior for 3 seasons.
That is
What?
pretty
That's
epic.
insane.
That is right. Please welcome co-founder of Sales Ascenders, American Ninja Warrior, and a wonderful father, Mr. Chris Baden.
Let's go. Welcome, Chris.
What's up, guys? You guys are freaking awesome. This is man. So I was told, don't watch any episode. Don't pay. Just show up. And I was like, I'm starting to see what's going on here. You guys are having so much fun. I love it.
It's a party, man. And especially on Fridays, like you got at the right time because this is episode 99 on a Friday. I mean, extra party mode today.
Extra party
thank
mode.
you, Chris.
Man, when you say 99, we're talking about great things. We're talking about all this stuff. Guess what I think of when I think of 99?
What?
Tell us.
Wayne
please.
freaking Gretzky, the great one. I mean,
So, yeah.
yeah.
Culture crash over here.
There we go.
I go, poosh, like,
Guys,
no,
really?
too much fun.
no. I mean, the audience might really be enjoying this right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
but we're like, tell me more, please.
I mean, I'm with you right there. I'm like, he's the legend, but the problem is I don't know who he is.
yeah, Wayne, he's so cool. Like, Wayne Gretzky, hockey player. For non-sport fans out there.
So my
99
wife
was his number. And
right.
Tony, there we go. We got some love
Tony's
from Tony.
like, yes,
he's laughing over there.
That's awesome. Well, my brother's wife, she's from Canada, and she grew up playing hockey. So she might know.
She would know. This is the episode that she's gonna. By the way, out of the 99 episodes, like, she's super supportive. She loves what we do, but she did not listen to any of the episodes. She's listened to one out of the 99. So I think this is gonna be the second one. I'm like, there's a hockey punt out there that you need to listen to. So. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Katie, if you're listening.
The audience is growing. The love is growing.
Let's go.
That's right.
Dude, Chris, let's get to it, man. Like, we're so excited to have you here. I met you, I think about a month ago, and we'll dive in on why we had to reschedule you for the good reasons, right? But I want you to share with the audience, like, who's Chris? Like, how do you get to what you do now?
Yeah, I was thinking about this a little bit as you guys were talking, to be fair. And I was like, man, if there's one for value content, everyone listening, man, if there's one thing people hear today, we're talking about, I know that it's the construct, the filter of sales and prospecting. You hear one thing, purpose-driven prospecting. Purpose-driven prospecting. That's how I sum it up. To accomplish, this is kind of a pillar. It's a principle that we'll be covering today. So you'll feel this theme, throughout the stories that I share and the whatever you guys pull out of me today, which who knows what's going to use. You guys are bringing the energy. I love it. So I'm like, oh man, they're gonna get me to say something. I can already feel it. But to have fun with it though, the principle is simply this: to accomplish something greater than yourself, it takes more than yourself. Mind blowing, Chris. So logical, right? But this has served me really, really well in life. To accomplish something greater than yourself, it takes more than yourself. Yes, for all my faith-based people out there, whatever your faith or belief is, we can go that path. But to be fair, and I love those conversations, but to be fair, today I'm actually just kind of speaking more on a more pragmatic, logical level of greater than yourself. Why? Prospecting is simply the skill, the language, and activity of creating new connection. And my argument is this: I don't care who we're talking to today. Everyone needs more connection in their life to do anything. And even, just being real, within the context of 2020.
Absolutely.
There's some awesome memes about 2020. Chris Farley is still my favorite meme. And anyway, point is in 2020, needing connection more than ever, or maybe it's just seeing the value of connection more than ever. And my argument with prospecting is that to accomplish something greater than yourself, it takes more than yourself, and prospecting is the skill, the language, and activity of creating new connection. If that's finding new customers, finding new teammates, finding new leadership, finding new partners, finding new service providers that you need to outsource work to, or maybe it's finding new relationships, significant others, whatever it is. This is the skill, language, and activity that everyone should be focusing on.
Dude,
wow.
You
dropped a bomb from the beginning.
Hashtag Golden Boulder,
gentlemen. We're just getting
so I thought we were just gonna talk for an hour. We can just end the episode right now. Like that's the full value of it. That's it. Game over, dude. Like, and the reason I'm reacting this way, right? Because through our business career, the last 5 years, we never really openly talked about prospecting, right? It was like a taboo topic because we're like, man, we got to go out and do sales. Like, who are we going to talk to? Like, are we going to knock on their doors? And that's exactly how we started. We literally went driving restaurant after restaurant, right? To knock on the door and be like, this is what we do, right? And then it was after restaurants, it was brick and mortars. And it's like, hey, this is what we do. And that was probably not the smartest way to do some prospecting. I'm not going to lie, right? But it was a big lesson. It got us out there. There's a lot of wins that came out of that. I would probably avoid it if we have to restart our life again.
Oh yeah.
But now lately it has been that way, right? And I think the show has been our vehicle of prospecting in some ways with the relationships that we've been able to build. And we can talk more about that later, but this comes at a perfect time because, through content, right? How do you utilize content to create prospecting, right? You guys do it in a very unique way as well. And And I think it's great. So that's why I'm reacting like, wow, like this is incredible because it's a new perspective on prospecting.
Yeah.
It's a new one.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to add that, what you said, it kind of reminds me of a phrase that I love now that we heard from Steve Larson, that he says, your business only grows to the extent that you do, right? And then when we talked to Alex Charfen and we asked him, what are your 3 favorite personal developers, authors? He's like, well, for me, business development is personal development. And you tie those things, and it's like, it's so true. Like, as you grow your business, you have to grow yourself. And now we're adding the skill, the language, and the activity, right, of creating these new connections. Like, this is, you guys are like completing, when you have a test and you're like filling the blank, you guys are filling all those blanks for me. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So how did you get into prospecting? Like, was this like a call of like the, higher being and be like, Chris, you're going to be the prospecting guy. Like you get, how was that start for you? Because for us it was really, really painful.
I don't know this to be a fact. I'm just assuming that everyone's journey in prospecting starts with pain.
Okay.
Maybe that's not the case, but for me, it was absolutely the case. And as you guys were sharing some of this, and we get into this kind of part in question, I feel like you guys articulated something really, really well that I just wanted to highlight for everybody, because what you described was a really big gap. You're like, hey, we're starting out, and to do it, it's like, how do we talk to somebody? Where do we go? What do we say? And we tried it, but it doesn't work. So I'm not going to do that anymore. Yet at the other end of the spectrum, I got it like the camera. Anyway,
yeah.
So it's like here and here.
Yeah.
Right. We know the outcome is leads come in. Content is come on, like. Attention and building trust, know, like, and trust, right? That process is accelerated. It's the thing that you can't ignore. It just works. But the problem is, how do you get there? How do you get there? And so I think, to your question is, when people ask me, how do I do it? Number one, in general, but how do I do it without feeling salesy? That's probably one of the number one requests is, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that girl. And you know what? Neither does anybody. Like, no one wants to be that person.
Yeah. And
so what's the answer, Chris? Well, I'll tell you. This is the exact answer. It's very, very simple. Do it 10,000 times.
Yes. All right.
I've been told no and rejected and been in different, I've gone through that furnace, and that's what gets the answer. So what's fun is I just want to be real with people. Like, why people will want to listen to this episode and pay attention to, a few of the things I said earlier and what's going to come out of me is because I've been the human that's experienced those things and have taken some time to reflect and put some frameworks around it.
Yeah.
And that has serving people at a high level. And obviously, as you guys mentioned some great names, how did I learn and accelerate my path? By leaning on the shoulders of giants, like listening to what they said and did as well. And so let's get into some of it, man. You asked me personally, my pain, where did it start?
Yeah.
I think one story that's fun. We'll do this story. This one will be fun. All right.
I know that's the right story. That's it.
Yeah. If you have to think about it like that, that is the right story to tell.
That is the right story to tell.
Yeah. So we'll rewind back when Chris is 24, never done sales before. And I think it's a great idea to go into the payment technology industry. What's the payment technology industry, Chris? I didn't know either. It just seemed like a cool thing to do. And so so we don't all have to live in a mystery. It's credit card processing. Taking payment, very important for a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you sold me, but I can't take your money. Right? Everyone it's a need, right? And so, but here's the problem. Here's the problem with merchant services, credit card processing. See, for some of us internet entrepreneur folk, we're just like, yeah, it's Stripe, Game Set Match, or PayPal,
Yeah.
It's great until we won't go down to all the problems that can create, right? It's smooth and easy, but for most people, it's not. For most people, the fees that are charged and the cold calls that you get, I didn't realize that I instantly became the scum of planet Earth when I decided to be a merchant service rep. Okay. I didn't know that,
By the way, I feel it because on the brick and mortar side that I managed a fitness studio for a long time. And
There we go.
so that was like my every single day. I'm like, do I have to deal with this? Right. Like, and so I can't even imagine the pain that you had to go through on your end. So I apologize for all the managers and store like people that probably talk to you, not being very happy. Just saying. In behalf.
So here's why. Actually, this is real. I didn't even think about this, but me sharing this particular story, everyone listening, I mean, you're all probably great people listening. Because I mean, let's just face it, Luis, Fonzie, they're cool people. So they probably attract really great people. Right?
Louis is a little bit cooler than Fonzie.
Right?
Just saying.
What's that?
Louis is a little bit cooler than Fonzie.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all good. It's
So
all good.
I noted. I'm stoking that fire as we do. Like Fonzie, you're just like, dude, you're on point, and you're just gonna be fighting for it. Anyways,
It's okay, Chris. Sorry, quick tangent here. We actually have a really good friend that he's like, you guys should start a pick a bro challenge, between people. Make someone pick one of you. So by the end of this episode, I know, Chris, I'm 100% sure you're going to be like, Fonzie, wow, you are so cool. And would you like to be the godfather of my next kid? I'm gonna be like, of course, Chris. I would love to.
Dude, okay. I love how we just went from pick the best bro to godfather status.
Yeah,
that just happened on episode 99, the great one.
Our last episode was a little scattered. Let's try to avoid that today. Fonzie.
Yes. Sorry, Chris.
Okay.
Let's go back to it.
It's okay. I just want to do a quick shout out to sponsor Pizza Pockets or Hot Pockets for they're delicious and they're less than 30 seconds. Okay, so the story we were talking about was, affiliate thing in the description. Or
yes, please.
So, okay, what was I talking? Okay, sale. There we go. Yeah. Right. So, the merchant services. A lot of you are great people out there, and as you're going through your sales cycle, you start to maybe become insecure. You feel some of those things. You have some of those thoughts. Well, guess what? Those were already implied on me before I even got a crack at the bat, got to go to the plate. You know what I'm saying? So what's important is I had to navigate that environment before I even started.
Yeah.
If you can solve that problem, you can go in 5 years, you can go to 3 different industries and generate a minimum of $1 million or more per business and per industry. Why? Wow. Because of the skill set, language, and activity of prospecting. I know how to connect to people. I know how to create new connection wherever you put me on planet Earth. I just thought of a way to test myself. I was like, oh, that could get scary. Do I have to go? But that would be really great.
I mean, if you want to share it here.
Anyway, I know.
Can we have an exclusive clip?
Yes. How do you get those sound? We're talking about sound effects after.
Yes.
That's awesome. But for all listeners, this is something I hope people grasp, right? We have this main concept of create new connection that I promise you will make all of your lives better in wealth, health, or relationships. Any area of life you want to grow, start with new connection. You have new thought, new conversation, and more acceleration. It's awesome. So in terms of business, here's Chris, 24, knows nothing about payment technology industry and has never done sales. Insert go. This is what hit me. My second month, I'm working 60 plus hours a week.
Yeah.
And the whole month, at the end of the month, guess how much I made?
You personally or the business?
Me.
You personally,
net profit and let's talk about me. My bank account.
$5,000.
2,000.
$800.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
$800. And I learned a lesson that I will never forget, and it still serves me, and I still think about it today. Here's what I learned. I had this epiphany. I was like, I don't get paid to work. I get paid to produce results. And the results that I create is no one else's problem but mine. Nobody cares about me. They don't care about my company. They don't care about features and benefits. They don't care about any of it. Yeah. And that's okay. All of that is okay. What they care about is how their standard of living, their quality of life is going to be affected.
Yeah.
And the way that we overcome that is as not sales people, but sales professionals when we're prospecting is we understand all the features and benefits. That's fine. We understand our company, but we understand who we're talking to, why it matters to them, and we ask questions based on their pain that are focused on the problem that's solved. There was a lot in there, but let me just hang there for a second.
Yeah.
Because once you understand that, you shift from salesperson and insecure to sales professional, and it's so much fun. Yeah. Because all you do is connect great people with great ideas, and you generate results for others and consequently yourself. And it's the best place on planet Earth, whatever industry you're in.
Wow.
I'll take a breath here.
No, that's impressive. I love kind of like the transition, that perspective of from salesperson to sales professional, right? And I also like, I don't get paid to work, I get paid to get results, but I love even more the next part that you said, and those results are, kind of like up to me, my responsibility, right? That I feel like that talks a lot about who you are, in the sense of a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for many things, right? And easily someone could be, oh, is the market, like, the market is not good, like that's why it's not working. But you decide it's up to me, so I'm gonna find a way to make this happen. And I'm curious to see how that transition happened for you, where you went from $800 to 7 figures. But I'm also extremely curious to know, pre-24, were you always a social person, right? Has that been easy to you throughout your life? Did you have to develop those skills? Where you put in, like you said, did you navigate those environments that eventually led to those skills that when eventually you got to 24, right, you started taking responsibility on your own sales that helped you transition from salesperson to sales professional?
And I'll start with the latter piece. And Fonzie, I just got to tell you, man, you are the best bro at asking questions.
Okay, it's okay. I'll take it. I mean, just full disclosure, he does need a win today. So, Chris, don't tell him what we talked behind cameras. Yeah. It's because Fonzie had a concussion.
Yeah, for those listening, if the questions are too good, it might be because of the concussion.
Exactly. So that's going to run out next week. That's fine. It's okay, Chris. Good job, bro. Like, that was our agreement before the episode. Okay.
Hey, you got it. The invoice is, how my assistant sent the invoice.
I got you.
Okay. So just having fun with the question you're asking. I'm gonna give you the honest thing that was going through my head, which I haven't actually said out loud before.
Exclusive,
because
yes. All right.
It makes me happy every time. And here's the thing. This is kind of a recent revelation for me. Self-realization for me is, I think the most accurate label for me is I can't even say it, so maybe I'm not ambivert. It's like where you're kind of
ambivert. Yeah. Ambivert.
Thank you, man. On point with that, Luis. I mean, if there's a bro that's so witty, I'm sorry,
that's the point.
We should just have you like every week so we can get all these compliments and just keep them going.
Yeah.
For you guys listening, let this be a lesson, please. If you're a guest, just compliment the host. Like, it's amazing. There's so many lessons in this episode. My goodness, it's Friday. Thank you for listening. And I'm not leaving the episode.
I love it, man. So, but I think just me opening up, sharing my story is, I think I'm more of an introvert is the real answer. But here's the thing where I've been confused with this is most people will call me an extrovert. And the bigger piece of this is I don't really care which one I am. So people are like, you're like this. I'm like, okay, cool. That sounds great. Well, you're an introvert. Oh, okay. I'm just focused on my goals or whatever I want to accomplish. Like my brain is just kind of that simple. There's not much more going on up there than that. But here's the deal. The way that I think I naturally think, because of the nature of that outcome and goal, I end up spending a lot of time not around other people, building skills and learning and applying and testing and working. It's an introvert that does that. And here's what blew my mind as I met musicians, CEOs, all these top people. not all of them are introverted, but a lot of them are.
Yeah.
However, this is important to learn is when I'm out like talking with you guys and doing these things, or I'm at networking events, that is when I say prospecting is a skill, I learned that behavior. You know where it started? Me standing behind a booth at some local networking whatever event where everyone's selling each other something. And I'm the youngest by like 5 or 10 years. And I'm like, I don't know what to say and how to talk. It was massive anxiety.
Yeah.
And the way my brain works is like, well, like, get over it, go get it done. So there's that drive in me that just like kind of figured it out and went through it. But from making $800 to tie in the second question there. Ooh, that worked good. Sorry.
So
All right.
good.
Stay focused, Chris.
That was smooth. That was smooth.
That's very smooth.
I'm not trying to. So $800 is it took me about 8 months where I literally every single day felt like I was gonna vomit. I watched over 40 people come and go and get fired. It's sink or swim, commission only, and how I show up and like represent myself, how I represent the company, the brand, all those things matter. And it's not the prospect, it's not the other person's fault.
Yeah.
So what I thought, I'm like, okay, if I'm desperate for a sale, that's going to come out. How do you overcome that? Step number 1, volume. Talk to so many people, it doesn't matter. The pressure lowers.
Ooh, so good.
So you're not so afraid to lose a sale or say the wrong thing. Because even if you are, you will, or even if you don't, people will still feel it and not like you. Nobody likes to be convinced of anything. People don't like to, you don't like to be the convincer, if that's even a thing, or be convinced.
Yeah.
You with me? Like all of it sucks.
Yep.
It's not the right game to play.
Dude, thank you, because like what you just said just like lighted a massive light bulb in our heads too, because I think that was the same approach that we took with content, right? Like we were like, okay, as soon as we saw that consistency worked for us on every single day doing a Facebook Live, for example, we were like, okay, consistency works. How can we multiply that message and go for volume? And, you know, now that when people ask me, it's like, what do you guys do? We're a high volume content repurposing agency for that same reason, because we've been using our show and the way that we create content around the show to test that framework. And so far, it has been incredible, because through the volume and the right frameworks to create it and right frameworks to distribute, everything has been positive. Like everybody's like, you know, people before that, and the reason I'm tying it down to content is obviously because we're in the content environment, but like I want to make the connection in a second. People kept coming to us and be like, guys, I cannot publish, 4 times, 7 times a day. Okay. Why? Is it a time issue? No, it's because people are going to unfollow me. People are going to like, it's not going to grow. Like I'm going to get, all these people annoyed. And we're like, let's test that. Us, like Biz Bros, let's test it. Guess what? Until now, I think we started with like 1 podcast every 2 days or so, like 3 podcasts a day. Right now, we publish more than 100 different pieces of content every single week, right? And we're like, how can we do more so we can test this thing? And if you go see on the data, and we can show it, like for whoever's interested, we can send this to you guys, the screenshots. All the accounts keep growing consistently. So the algorithm is going to take care of that for you. It's not going to show your message to everybody. They're just going to show it to the ones that matter. And this is, by the way, organically for now, right? We're about to test like paid strategies around this, but all the data keeps telling us that it is working, and it's creating more conversations, and it's making this prospecting process through the content very viable. So now when you say that how do you solve that problem is with volume, having more conversations. So then, you get very comfortable. So then you can start having like meaningful conversations and identifying these patterns and so on. That's why I made the connection with content, because the second we started producing consistently and frequently, everything changed, right? The message got clearer. My offer got clearer. The problems that we're describing got clearer. Like everything got a lot better. And that. So then obviously we got to talk about capacity and how do you scale. There's different resources and stuff like that. But to get started, man, I love that what you said, that how to not be afraid of selling volume.
Yeah, I like that too, because I think the fact knowing that there's another opportunity after the one that you're having right now might make things easier, right? Or might make the no easier in a way, or failing easier in a way, right? Because now I can, with less pressure, talk to this person. If they say no, I know for a fact there's another opportunity waiting for me, and another one, and another one, and I just keep trying, which is genius, right? I've never seen it that way, right? I've always asked myself how to get over that fear of, that fear in general of rejection. But I never thought of volume as an answer, right? Of doing more of that thing is the actual reason why you can diminish that fear, which is absolutely cool. And I love that you brought the introvert extrovert, because there's, again, I'm going to quote a book here. It's called the Barking at the Wrong Tree. It's called Barking at the Wrong Tree.
The head still works.
By Alex Barker. And it's incredible.
So
and one of the stories that he shares is about, introverts and extroverts, that people just tend to qualify themselves as either or. And when in reality, most people are actually ambiverts, and they can pretty much pick. We have the advantages of both, of introverts and extroverts. And at some point we can, sit down, be introverts, and, just work on our craft. And sometimes when needed, we can be extroverts, and be social and go out there and build those relationships too. So I love that you brought that point. It's a really cool book.
Yeah, Chris, how long did it take you to identify that you were not just that? Because, when we spoke with Bart Miller, we were talking about identities, right? And it was incredible because, our identity was soccer players a long time ago. And it's shifted, right? And our belief, or at least my belief until that point, was like, I can only take one identity. And he was like, no, you can actually take different identities. And, with him, it's crazy. Like, he's a designer. He's like a hairstylist. He's like a cowboy. Yeah. He does so many things, like so well. He's a cyclist. So he's like, for every situation, you can take on that identity. And for me, that conversation meant a lot, because I'm like, he gave me permission to do that, right? Like, it was like, oh, I don't have to be one thing. I can take on that persona, right? And then when you tie it down with the introvert and extrovert, it's like, okay, according to the environment that I'm sitting right now, tie it down with my objectives and goals. What's the conversation I'm going to have? Do I need to be an introvert or do I need to be an extrovert, right? And that now allows for a lot of movement and a lot of learning and a lot of volume to be able to have those conversations. So do you always knew that you were an ambivert, or like, how was that process for you?
I mean, so I think twofold on this. One is, what is, Chris's personal process? And then, I think what are some good principles or thoughts around it? And for my specific experience, I think it was something that wasn't really on my radar. And then people kind of talked about it, and I've done all these self-assessment things. I'm like, which one am I? Yeah. And eventually I just got so frustrated trying to figure out which one it is. I'm like, I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're an ambivert. Like, I have, what is the environment, situation, challenge requiring? And this is the principle piece. It's a choice. Like, I think if you just know, you actually can choose a little bit. Now, people have different skill sets, backgrounds, and natural tendencies. Being aware of those and maybe just building more neuroplasticity or more practice in that area might be wise. You'll get more leverage from that. Not ignoring that. At the same time, to say that you're not, or to close something off because you've never done it before, it's kind of crazy. It's like, well, I'm not a father because I've never been a father. Well, I kind of need to learn to be a father. There's some new things I need to learn. Yeah. Like, I am a dad now. Yeah. And
times 3.
Go ahead.
Times 3.
I'm a 3-time
I know. But for those listening, guys, the reason we had to reschedule Chris was because, like, literally, I think the day of the interview, you were having your 3rd child.
How good would that episode have been, though? Live from the...
Amazing. That would have been, like, no excuses, guys.
I'm just going to throw this out there. I think 3 is your lucky number. 3 different companies in 3 different industries to over $1 million in revenue. And now you got 3 kids. And... You said, did you participated 3 times too in American Ninja Warrior?
Dude, hey. I mean, trends, man.
Whatever. If I play the lottery today, I'm going to go for number 3. Just saying that out there.
Yeah. By the way, thank you guys to the live audience. Thank you so much, Tony. He says, got a golden boulder from today's show. I think it's been like a golden avalanche. Like, we're stepping up here, guys. Like, this has been insane. From golden nugget to golden boulder to golden avalanche.
But sorry, Chris, we interrupted you.
This has been so many tangents.
Keep going.
It's a sign of a good conversation.
To be continued.
Having fun and yeah. So we knowing the choice. I think there's power in the choice. Actually, kind of a really personal story. And without, I'll give some good detail here, but just kind of my wife's past and background and where she came from and grew up. There's in us meeting, I'm kind of that, guy that I'll meet people, I'll figure things out. I'm the starter, the idea guy, and so I'll introduce a lot of times new thought to people, and they're like, I didn't even think about that, and well, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
And so it becomes inspirational. And so with my wife, we've kind of gone through that pattern at different times where you're like, it's revelation. You're able to see something that you weren't able to see before. If you're in the dark, you can't see. And when light comes in, you're like, oh, I can. If you've ever seen somebody, you're like, why on earth would they do that? Like, they're out of their mind.
Yeah.
Right. They are like, they're not seeing what actually is or what can be. And so in context in real life of introvert extrovert, it's, we actually have some power. We actually have some choice. And so it's kind of like realizing that we have it, we can take that back. And even to kind of hook in from kind of the topic that we were, talking about versus with content and with prospecting, when we give away the responsibility, we give away the power.
Yeah.
And when we understand that it's on us, that's a good thing. Yes, there's some weight that comes to it. But at the same time, when we know it's our responsibility and the result is on us, that's kind of the nervous energy sometimes and the fuel that we need to go take the action. But it's also, it hones our focus to be able to, I know I got to listen. I got to ask more questions and the right questions of what people need. And I need to serve these people.
Yeah.
I need to serve these people. And guess what? You'll get the right answers and things will begin to grow. And you have the screenshots to show all the growth.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you for the shout out. By the way, I want to return the shout out. You guys have an amazing Facebook group, Sales Ascenders. That's how we actually connected. And we jumped on a call. You guys gave massive value like on that first call. And then we jumped on your group and it was a fun experience. And I want to highlight this story because that's exactly what we're talking about, right? Like that is the prospecting that we gain through our show. And now there's a professional relationship. Also, I consider you guys friends now that we can actually reach out through a personal message, from parenting to like dealing with 3 kids. I'm like, Chris, please tell me all the tips and tricks, to like prospecting and, with Sean, the sales side and, combined is an amazing value, right? So that says a lot because we never know where that person can either connect you with or what opportunities are going to come across, right? So one of the things that really stuck to me when we introduced you was how to approach people in a genuine way, right? Because I could say all this and people in the back are like, well, you do your show because of your very personal reasons, right? And we've been completely honest with this. We're like, we do this show for us 100%. We like to connect with people and we like to like learn, right? Like that's one of the powerful things about the platform. And we're bringing the audience with us, which has turned into this amazing thing. But at the same time, I don't think we come across as not genuine. Like we really are. We're truly interested in what you guys have to say. So, but I don't think that's natural to people, right? Every time we have this conversation, they're like, man, that's challenging. That's really hard, right? And you said it earlier, like how are we not salesy? We talk about volume, we talk about this, but do we actually have to be genuine or do we actually have to show that we're genuine? Or is that like, is there a difference through those two? Or like, what's the secret sauce?
I think I like to describe it as an art and a science.
Yeah.
So the science is there's some fundamentals. Let's go to the soccer field for a second, right? I like analogies. If when it comes to offense, when it comes to defense, there's certain strategies that like, listen, if you guys work together as a unit in this way, in this pattern, it works more effectively.
Yeah.
Right. In our businesses, all business owners, shout out here, man, if you don't have SOPs, standard operating procedures, you're going to hate life.
Yes, we've been there.
right? That's the science.
Yeah.
The art is the human piece. It's the connection. And so when we're talking about this context of being genuine, yeah, it's awesome when it's just natural and it's genuine. At the same time, we don't always feel good because we're freaking human.
Yep.
Because we didn't sleep the night before, because we got a concussion 2 days ago, because life happens. And so how do you but the result, the outcome still needs to take place. Yeah. And so how do we manage that? And I think the question is, it's more on that science and that structure piece. And I want to give a simple answer so people can just take away and apply. And then I also want to give an analogy because it really illustrates, and partially a story of it illustrates the sales cycle, the relationship building journey, right?
Yeah.
So the simple takeaway is, think the science piece is you need to have a formula that gets 7 to 12 touches. 7 to 12 touches. Hey, and guess what? This is over multiple different industries, multiple different sales cycles, multiple different price points. You get 7 to 12, you're going to make some money. Okay? You're going to build some good relationships. Now, what is a touch point? A touch point could be friend request. A touch point could be they saw an episode. They listened to a podcast. They subscribed to the podcast. It's something that they physically did, heard, or saw, and that's related to you. A DM, an email. You guys see where I'm going. It's a touch point. So in your sales cycle, what are those touch points? And have that build before you get into your sales conversation, ideally. What is that known as? The prospecting process, right? That's that zone. And so let me give you an analogy. Let's take this science and our hypothesis, and we'll go to the bar. We'll go hang out at the bar for a second.
Let's do it.
Fonzie cannot go in because alcohol is not good for concussion.
Yeah,
Sorry.
not today, but it's okay.
It's all good. Chris, you and me, we can hang out.
There we go. Okay.
I'll fill him in.
He's trying to scrap a victory here for the Pico Bro. I'm just throwing that out there.
I'll fill him in.
Yeah, no, you guys made a critical error in the beginning saying, "Oh, we're thinking about this segment and the best bros." I was like, "It's on.
It's happening.
It is on."
Yeah,
I promised I'd stoke the fire. So anyway, so we're hanging out at the bar. We're wingmen, with the three amigos or two. I don't know how it works.
Two amigos. Fonzie's outside.
I like the two amigos.
He's yeah. So we're and when it comes to building relationship and approaching a girl or being approached or all those different things, it's cold. And man, let's just for funsies, let's turn in funsies with Fonzie. I don't know, maybe that's the thing. Anyway,
even now your subconscious is telling you who's the best bro right here. Just throw that out there.
So good. I don't know. Anyway, well, stay focused. Sorry, I have more ideas going through.
2020 lesson for us, by the way, Chris, is stay focused. Like, I don't think we're doing a good job at this episode today, but it's so fun. Yeah, this is so fun.
Hopefully everyone listening is feeling the fun and some more good stuff is coming, because as we're in our businesses, as we're facing that challenge of how do we start? It's that pressure of where do I build and how do I build that new relationship? And guess what? Even when you know how to do it and you are doing it, it doesn't get it. You still have to face that daily, which is why I like to focus on daily minimums. If you do not establish your daily minimums, you don't have a standard and you will fail. Oh, wow. You certainly won't excel at the way that you can and should be. So you're doing yourself, you're doing your marriage, you're doing your business, you're doing your team, all of this disservice. You're failing if you do not establish your daily minimums. Well, that's extreme, Chris. It's the truth. And so if you're generating content and you need to be consistent, great. If you write one article a day and that's your minimum, that's what it is. If you need 5 new touches a day, that's your minimum. Great. That's what it is. For me right now, it's 20 new touches per day, 5 days a week, non-negotiable. It's the standard. You can get more, get more. There's follow-ups, by the way, on top of that. Well, Chris, every day, listen, if you're drowning and you actually can't sustain that yourself consistently, then you need a team and you need some systems.
Yeah.
And guess who's excellent at that? Content is profit.
Thank you.
Building systems.
Thank you.
So, but when you get to see a cool result, we can play this game. You show me a great show like Content is Profit. You show me a great business, and behind that, I'll show you great systems. I'll show you established daily minimums.
Yeah.
Because they're that important. And so when we're in the bar and we say, hey, we need to make sure that we talk to at least 3 new women. If women are out there, you got to talk to 3 new men. However the game's being played, what are your minimums? You got to go reach out to new people. Now, in this context, in this environment, let's look at the situation. If we're going to go up and say, hey, can I buy you a drink? Yeah, great. We do the drink thing. You know what? We really should get married. I've heard this. I'm sure other people have heard this before, but it's just when we become sellers, we often forget what it's like to be the buyer. My argument is spend more time being the buyer and you'll be a better seller. If someone asks you to get married after a sentence, it's awkward. For everybody, you just try to convince them of something. And that's the thing, that's the feel, that's the emotion that everybody hates.
Yeah.
Right? And so as we look at it in this progression, we need to think about this for our buyer's process, our customer journey. Yeah. What are the 7 to 12 touch points? So we're going to friend request, then we're going to welcome them. And then, what's awesome is this conversation is literally came to be through a new connection through the system that we have put in place for our business and what we install in other people's businesses. So does it work? It's working.
Absolutely.
So, but people don't look at it like this. Yeah. They don't. To be fair, I'm the guy talking about this right now and telling everyone. And even in the newer stuff that we've been working on, it's awesome. I didn't fully respect the process. Yeah. Meaning, I'm like, oh yeah, I've done this before. Maybe some people are listening and they're like, this is great stuff, Chris. I know that you're right because I've also done this. Even if you're in that bucket, me being in that bucket, I was like, man, I didn't respect this process fully the way I needed to. And what happened was I broke it down into a little bit more detail and the step points. And we had literally more conveyor belt, step by step, what you do and what you say. And if this happens, then you do this. If that happens, you do something else, to that type of detail. Man, now I know how to actually duplicate myself. I can actually get that activity replaced for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
The thing where people get stuck is our business will never grow beyond the capacity of our systems. And so if you're that entrepreneur, there's a reason there's been 3 businesses and they get to $1 million, in that range and then stop. Because I knew how to build system. Well, at first I was just myself and I avoided leadership. And then I'm like, okay, I can't avoid this anymore. Yeah. And then I built systems and my businesses grew to 7 figures. And then, I'm hitting that ceiling. Guess what? I need to level up again. Yeah. And I am. And it's happening. That's awesome. And because I need more capacity in systems, I need to be more predictable. And that's hard for me because I'm I'll figure it out as we go kind of guy.
We get along, Chris.
Yeah, we do.
I love this story right now. It reminds me of a few things, right? First, I don't know if you have read, before going there, it is working, your system, right? Reaching out, creating these conversations, and we brought you guys here to the podcast. You have no idea how many times I told my brother, we need to start working with these guys. We need to start working with Sean. And now that I met you, Chris, I'm like, we need to start working with Sean and Chris.
And Chris, by the way, one of the things that I'm like, hold on, is because we're on the systems of the service, right? We're currently building that. So it's like, okay, we're very blessed to be in this position. Before the last 4 years, we're always operating from a place of need. Right now, we're in a place of abundance, and we don't need the sales, right? So before it was like yes. Right now, it's like, let's take our time. Let's execute. The last 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks have been 3 onboardings, which are pretty lengthy because of the process that we do. So we're compressing that process to make sure that we're optimizing it so we're ready for new capacity, right? And that's a conversation that we're having internally in our business. How are we reaching the capacity? So then, when we hire you guys, it's like, okay,
we can fulfill the people that we're bringing in, right?
And deliver on the promise, right? Mm-hmm. So that is full transparency what's happening.
Yeah, but I just wanted to throw that out there because, man, Chris, like, since the first time I talked to Sean, that conversation with him, I was like, I knew it. I'm like, these are the people that are gonna show us the way. You know, you guys are like, or Jedi masters, and we're gonna be the young Padawans over here. Yeah, I thought you want to say something right now.
I was gonna say, like, Sean and Mel are so cool. Melissa's wife, like, we've been partnered the last 4 years, and there's no way, you know, I like to say the 3 businesses, you know, that I've been a part of building those businesses. I've been, you know, an equity holder in all of them. The last 2 I've got to build with Sean and Mel, and Sean's built even bigger, cooler things than I have. You know, he's a stud. So they're smart. They work hard. When crap hits the fan, they're going to be, you know, there with their sleeves rolled up, already working. They have their floaties on, ready to jump both feet in, and they know that I'm going to do the same thing. And so yes, I'm like, sorry, you're like Sean. So I was
no.
Dude, those guys are so cool. I'm on the Sean train.
I love it. You know, like that partnership just talks a lot about you guys, you know, and trust me, I'm going to be talking highly about you the same way because I'm loving this conversation too. It has been an honor meeting you. And the other thing that I wanted to share was that your conversation really reminds me of The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes, right? One of the first things that he says at the beginning of the book, he's like, you must have pig-headed determination, right? He's like, you need to be disciplined and you need to follow this process. So you're telling me that every day you do 20 new touches. That's your daily minimum. And no matter what, you're going to do that. That is pig-headed determination right there, right? And I think, especially, I know I was there. I didn't have, or I'm still lacking in some points. I know that's part of what I need to build. But I used to be all over the place. Like, oh, let me do this here. And then the next day I'm going to do that. And then the next day I'm going to do that. Right. So I love that. But then when we started working with our content and we decided, okay, how can we stay consistent? Right. We had to understand our capacity. And you mentioned that as well. And it was key for us understanding that our capacity had a limit, right? And for us at that moment was just do one Facebook Live every single day. And that consistency paid off big time, right? We managed to get one of the biggest contracts we had at that time that literally saved our business and helped us move forward. And so I love it. I love that it's like, wow, what you're talking about right now is honestly, it's a simple concept, right? Be consistent, right? Be determined and know your capacity. Yet so many people struggle to get those simple terms and execute on them. The other thing that I love is you talked about kind of like having this ceiling on your processes and your capacity, right? Where you said like, I built a company to $1 million and then I knew I had to level up. And that is so, I think maybe like 2 weeks ago, we actually run across this piece of content from, I think he was the COO of 1-800 junk, pick up my junk, something like that.
Oh, nice. Right on.
Yeah. It's a massive company that grew up. And he was talking about cycles, that people have cycles where they can usually scale a company, you know, threefold, and that's their ceiling. And companies then need to bring a different CEO or COO that are used to scale that company, right? Like they're a level up, if you want to put it that way. So I love what you're saying because that just brought me back. And I love the fact that you can learn how to be that person onto the next level, right? We just need to be aware that we need to level up and we need to put in the work to be that person.
That's so well said. And I mean, anyone listening, struggling with, am I good enough? If I bet on myself and transition out of 9 to 5, or, how will it go? Will it work? All those things. It is a scary journey because some of that responsibility, and I'd argue power, is coming back to you.
Yeah.
And but the answer is you can. The question is, do you want to be that person? And goals are nice hopes. Outcomes are results. And when you feel and start to understand that distinction, and you can sense which one is really going on in you, it really helps with decision-making process. If you're committed to a certain result, you're focused on outcomes. I need this outcome to take place. and you can kind of let go of the how, and now you become kind of like a scientist, someone exploring, trying to figure out, okay, oh, did this work? Oh, that didn't work. Okay, let's try this. And then you get to just, keep going at it, and you become that person. You learn the skill, like you're saying.
Yeah. Wow. I see both parallels, like the way that you're talking, obviously live business, and then from us, I see that as a mirror with the process that we implement with our content. The second we change that perspective that you just mentioned, that's when everything changed, because we're enjoying the process. We're like, how do we master the consistency first? And then with the show, it was just 3 times a week. And then it's like, okay, once that's it. That was our minimum viable show, right? It was like, okay, now what? Now how can we start scaling? How can we reach more capacity, right? On the content side. Now on the business side, it's the same thing that we've been doing with our team, and we recently onboarded the 8th person in the team, which is insane to think about in like the last 7 months,
Congrats.
right? Thank you. But it's like, okay, we identify those areas and like, okay, how can we reach the capacity a little bit higher there, right? How can we go a little bit higher there so we can fulfill on the clients that we're taking in? So I like that. One word that comes to mind is simplicity, right? Like we don't have to overcomplicate it. It's like you said, it's that framework for every single thing that we do. So, if you're listening and you are in the business side, those are very valuable lessons. Like not very valuable. These are must lessons. Like go listen to it, go do it, right? On the content side, same things. Find your minimal viable content, start being consistent. And then from there, you're going to find out your message. You're going to find out your offers. You're going to have conversations. You're going to create the points of contact, the 7 to 12 points of contact that Chris was mentioning, right? And then after that, it's like, okay, how can I increase my frequency? How can I build the team around it? Or if you don't have a team, shameless plug, bring us on. We're going to help you multiply that message, right? So I love how everything pairs up. Now, Chris, sadly, we have to like bring this interview and land it. We could probably be talking for the entire weekend.
I'm just going to throw this out there. I think we need to do an episode with you and Sean together.
A 2v2.
I think it'll be...
I think that would be
it'll be a good one.
Very interesting.
The best sales bros. Who is it?
Oh, man.
We can do... That one we should do live. I think it would be epic.
Because this is not live?
No, I mean like live in person. Person.
Come on, Fancy.
I was like, no, Luis, live.
Yeah, in the flesh.
In the flesh. Okay, yeah,
right.
that concussion, bro. Okay, it's happening.
I'm like trying to avoid all the screens right now, really bad.
Fonzie, you have an out. You have the out card for any situation. I'm sorry, it's
How about
concussion. It's not me. I'm not going to remember any of this.
Yeah, literally. Sorry about that. I can go to the bar now and reach out to all the girls and then be like, I'm sorry, I have a concussion. I don't know what I'm doing. On to the next one.
If you do go to the bar, 7 to 12 touches is a metaphor. It's not actual touches.
Do not touch the person. Yes, please.
Just quit. Don't make it weird. Just to be clear.
Thank you.
Next content.
Yeah.
All right, great. So the last couple questions, right? One is, what is a quick action point somebody can do? Like if they're in a similar situation where they're a little lost on their stuff inside of their business, what is a win that they can, take home with them tonight?
Yeah. Great question. Anyone listening, you're just starting out, you're experienced, you've been doing the same thing forever. You're making 10 million a year. Congratulations. I do this personally and advise people to do this at least quarterly. Market research, a specific kind of market research though. Go talk to your customers. You don't have customers? Go talk to your ideal customers. Chris, and if ideal customers, if you don't have any yet, find the people and the customers that have already bought the thing, the service, the product that you intend to sell. Ask them about their experience. And I do have some resources, like linking notes or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. We're gonna drop all the links. All you gotta do is like scroll down, and they're gonna be all in there.
Feel free to plug it right here, right now. Say it.
Yeah, and I mean, this one's literally just like a free PDF. It's just a give. I know I'm the sales guy. I should have a hook, right? But just take this, use it. There's 8 key questions to ask when you go to do this market research. And the link will have those 8 questions, and the order of those follow a tested psychological order. It's money. It's really, really good. We use this obviously in all the industries we've been in. And so these 8 key questions are really key. And so you take these questions and you go to your market Your prospects that are already buying and paying for the thing that you intend to sell, or you're experienced and you go talk to your actual customers or new prospective customers, and you ask these 8 questions and you listen and you write down what they say and what they like and what they don't like and what their pains are. Because here's the thing. A business is nothing more than a systematic way of delivering a product or service. Mm-hmm. What is created from the heart is felt by the heart.
Yeah.
Business is the system, but the art is like the human and the connection piece of it. And if you don't have it, all of it fails. Meaning the people that are running the business without the art will hate their life, and they'll hate their customers, and they'll hate what they do. And some of us have got stuck in that. And on the other end, the customers are going to be frustrated. Yeah. It's never enough. It's that type of culture. It's that type of environment that nobody likes, right? And so what's created by the heart is felt by the heart. And so when you're listening and people are buying feelings, they're buying experiences, and our products and services are the vehicles of how we're fulfilling and delivering that. Mm. I don't know if everyone will catch that as we're getting to the end, but those lines right there are life-changing. Whether you're a musician, you're an artist, you're what I would call a business artist, entrepreneur, you're creatively solving problems and everything. When you understand those fundamentals and you go to do market research and you ask these 8 questions, you will begin to reconnect to the people and the why you're doing it in the first place. And you're sacrificing your time, your family, your resources to serve these other people that you've been led or called to serve. You'll reconnect with that. And here's what's fun, kind of an ending thought with this question is, here's what's fun. If you've ever felt like, but I've done this marketing effort and I've done content this way or sales this way, and you feel like what you get back in return is less than what you gave, you'll like this line. When you do this market research, what you'll find is you'll actually end up getting back tenfold what you gave. It's kind of that line in proverb, it's better to give than it is to receive. Yeah. It's not just be a good person and give. It's actually a principle of how things work, how people work. And so when we're focused on really serving and connecting with people and understanding their pains and what's taking place, and you start to serve them, and here's practically what happens: referrals. They can't help. Hopefully, even in us talking, we're going to share stories about each other after we leave this, because there's that connection. Yep. And guess what? Content is profit will continue to grow and profit because of the systems you guys teach and these principles that we're discussing.
Thank you so much. By the way, yes, there are people obviously live right now. They're hopefully, in the audio, they've survived our craziness today and they're here. But also, full disclosure, we are actually implementing a system right now where we're taking these action points and they're going to be condensed so people can actually go out and take it, right? So I take by your expression that is a really good idea. Is that validation?
That's
I hear
awesome.
That? Yeah, thank you.
Well, I just know I know the SOP and all the deliverables and steps. I was like, but you guys are the content masters. That's
so
touche. Well played.
I want to invite people to join your group, right? Is Sales Ascenders on Facebook, right?
Sales Ascenders Inner Circle. And if you type that in, it's a free Facebook group. My boy Sean, high ticket tune-up 3 times a week, answering the hot question of the day. Great. And then we also have a member spotlight, which, you guys need to come back. You come on and hang out.
Thank you. And that, just so you know, I'm throwing this out there. I'm a little embarrassed actually to say this, but I just joined the group. My brother was in there before. I just sent my request. So I hope you guys accept me into the group. But again, everybody Sales Ascenders
first
inner
place with the acceptance and getting. This bro feud. The battle continues.
The battle continues.
We got Tony here saying, I'm definitely joining. Yes, Tony, go ahead, man. The value that we've seen in there has been incredible. The resources that these guys share, the questions that they answer, it can be, you can apply it to your everyday, business venture, everyday life, like Chris showed up here. Thank you, man, for coming on. I think with that, I think we're done.
Well, the
There's
last
one
question.
Thing,
Oh, the
one
last
thing
question?
I have to ask. There's
Yeah.
one thing I have to ask.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
This
Go ahead.
whole episode, I've been staring at this giant Green Ranger helmet.
Yes, let's
Yeah,
go.
that one.
I mean, I've got a Green Ranger story.
Oh,
but
man.
I was really curious to hear your Green Ranger story.
If I put on the helmet, will you share the story?
So while
Done.
Fonzie's doing
Let's
that,
do this. Yes, he's doing it.
while Fonzie's doing that,
Fonzie plays for real. Point for Fonzie.
oh man, okay, he said point for Fonzie. He's not listening right now, but
Yeah.
you know, for those listening, guys, like if you see the live video, we actually have a live Green Ranger there, and the story is like last Halloween, I still have these really good friends that he's called the Stormtrooper, he has like a Stormtrooper persona, and he carries his helmet everywhere that he travels to. So he takes like these amazing pictures. And the idea was to do, by the way, we got Green Ranger joining right now to the Contents Profit podcast. The idea was to do the Green Ranger helmet and just as we travel before COVID happened, you know, take these pictures with the helmet. So we would carry the helmet and we got like a helmet bag and everything. And to get the red one as well, and then we'll be the two Rangers or whatever. We never got the red one. So now the Green Ranger is a tradition in the office. Everybody that visits takes a picture with a Green Ranger helmet.
Oh, yeah.
and those that you can't see, the green helmet is officially on, and the headphones.
Yes.
So, Fonzie, are you with us? Can you hear us?
I don't know what we're talking about.
He said that we don't know what we're talking about.
So while the Green Ranger helmet is soundproof, it also is concussion proof. So Fonzie, if you continue to wear the Green Ranger helmet, you will not have any more concussions.
I know. I should go play soccer with the helmet on, honestly.
All right, well,
So good.
do you want to share your story?
Yeah,
we
okay.
have a few minutes here so we can share and wrap up the show.
This will be a good one to leave everyone to have a great weekend. My Green Ranger. Ooh, this will be really. I'm gonna tie this in with prospecting because this is what we're talking about. I
so
like
good.
things to connect. Okay, so Green Ranger, my 3-year-old. He's 4 now. My 3-year-old. This is my home office. Been working from home last 4 years or so, and I've got 2 doors right over here.
Yeah.
With newfound revelation, my 3-year-old burst through the doors and he's just like so excited. He's like, Dad, I've got a great idea. And I'm just kind of like, what on earth is happening right now? And I'm working, not a big deal. Okay, whatever. And I was like, what is it, Emmett? And he's like, I want to get a toy. I was like, I'm just kind of laughing to myself. I was like, well, that was a lot of energy for just getting a toy, but that's cool. So I was like, he's like, can we get one? I said, absolutely. I match his energy. I was like, absolutely, we can get a toy. It's like, which one do you want? And he's like, I want the Green Ranger.
Yeah.
The Power Ranger, Green Power
Green
Ranger.
helmet.
There we go, Green Power Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a Green Power Ranger for Halloween when I was a kid. Anyway, so
Yes.
it's funny. He's in here, and it was an awful homemade costume. Anyway, so Emmett comes in and he goes, I want to get a Green Ranger. He's like, can we go right now? I said, yes. But if we're gonna get a Green Ranger, we need money to go buy the toy. And some people look at me sideways when I say that. They're like, you told your 3-year-old that he needs to go make money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? That's the way the world works.
Love it.
Yes, we take care of him. We buy. He has clothes. He can. We let him inside every once. I'm kidding. He has shelter, food. He's taken care of. Okay.
Yeah.
He's not short of. So I say you need money. He's like, well, how do I get money? This is a conversation. He actually asked me, how do I get money? I said, well, how you get money is you solve problems for other people, and then they give you money. And then he asked, well, how do I solve problems for people? And I was like, crap. How am I supposed to help a 3-year-old solve problems for people? That's where I got stuck. So later that day, I'm thinking about it in the back of my mind. Later that day, we lost our keys. We're trying to go run some errands or whatever. And I was like, you know what would work? If we had a massive keychain, we would not lose our keys. And I was like, Emmett, hey, we should make really big keychains for people so they don't lose their keys.
Yeah.
And kind of a fun takeaway there is anyone listening for business, solve your own problems first.
Yes.
If you're struggling with conviction and you feel insecure about prospecting and helping somebody else, help yourself first. Not in a selfish way, in a connected way.
Yeah.
If you know how to solve your own problem, it's going to be that much easier to talk through it mentally, emotionally, and financially. If you're selling a $25,000 something and you've never bought one, it's hard. It can be done. but if you have spent it, you know what it's like to go through the process. So we solve our own problems first, right? And so my wife's totally creative. She's the musician and feathers and color and all this stuff everywhere, right? And so she's got this leather making kit, of course. So we make this giant leather keychain. I have pictures of this whole thing. I didn't know it was going to be a thing, but it like turned into a thing. So we cut out this big leather keychain. He paints it. And I mean, let's just talk about the artwork, gentlemen.
It's so good.
It's a modern day Picasso, handcrafted leather. No, it's a 3-year-old. I'm not that dad. It's a 3-year-old scribbling paint on a keychain. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What's a punchline there? It's not perfect, but it still solves the problem. Our products and services aren't always perfect. Bring it to market as long as it serves people and still solves the problem.
Yeah.
Make it better as you go. And so we continue this journey. This is crazy. We skip the errand. This kid's on fire.
Yeah.
His motivation is driving this whole thing. I didn't know it was going to turn into a thing. I'm just like, kid, you need to learn this lesson at some point.
Yeah.
And I just didn't think it was going to happen this fast. So this is what happens. He's like, I got it done, Dad. I was like, well, crap, now you need a pitch.
Yeah.
It's that tension that we feel. Well, what do we go say? And I didn't go to neighbors. This isn't a sympathy business. This isn't a friends and family. No disrespect against going to friends and family for business or whatever. But I'm just saying that even for me,
Yeah.
I don't have a big family. Even if we did that, we'd still be broke. So we went to the cold market. My tip, my recommendations, go to the cold market. Why? They're the most honest.
Yeah.
I want speed. I want honesty as fast as possible. They aren't afraid to lie to you. So it helps me refine my product and service faster. Some more market tips and research. Go to a cold market and get more conversations so you can learn faster. So that's what we did. Knock, 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 first door. Sorry, the pitch. What is he going to say? We eventually narrowed it down for a 3-year-old to be, hi, I'm Emmett, and I help people not lose their keys. And then he shows them the keychain.
Yeah.
How simple, right? Here's what's crazy. We talk about all these principles about content, consistency, prospecting today. Guess what? They work for a 3-year-old. Do they work? Of course. Well, they work for a 3-year-old. It probably could work for us. This was such a life-changing story and experience for me. Thank you for letting me talk forever and share some of it though. But Green
amazing.
Ranger, it triggered all of it. It's your fault. So
I love it. I love the story, man.
Dude, and he's rocking hard on that. He's still got the helmet on.
Yeah,
point
absolutely.
for that.
So you
Point for
know,
that.
it gets like
Foggy.
super foggy inside, so I cannot see anything right now. It's perfect for the compression,
Yeah.
man.
You can't hear, you can't see. This is great. So, we get his pitch down, and you're like, Chris, you're gonna make your kid pitch? He can talk. Why not? Why not? Like, the last thing any of us listening need is buying into the world's lie that we're too young, we're too old, we're too this, we're too that. It's trash. It's horrible thinking. Ignore it. Stop listening to it today, immediately. So when the world will tell my 3-year-old that he's too young and that he's not good enough. But my internal commitment and promise to myself is I will never be that voice for my children. I will be the voice that temporarily discovers the challenges they face. And I will be the voice of support that coaches and leads and guides them through that piece. And so, like, I get so freaking pissed off and fired up when it's like, oh, you can't. And it drives me nuts. If there's like a logical reason of why something happened, okay, let's overcome it.
Yeah.
But as soon as we buy into you can buy and sell ideas. As soon as we buy that idea, we already lost and it's our fault.
Yeah.
How many years have we spent in our business, in our like, we're stuck in this cycle in relationships. We're stuck in this cycle in our business, and it's the same crap over and over. It's our freaking fault.
Yeah.
Because somewhere we're buying into some lie and principle that does not serve us. It doesn't serve our business. It doesn't serve our team or our relationships or marriage. And so, anyway, you can feel it. I'm off a little bit of soapbox action there.
So inspiring. Like, this is like, by the way, like, this whole chop is a full bonus episode that at some point we're gonna like monetize.
Secretly. I love it, man. And so as we get kind of towards the end of the story, but it is he gets his pitch down because he can, and we'll find a way. And we make it simple to where he can step forward and take action, and he does. And we go to the first door, knock, knock, knock. no answer. We go to the second door, knocks again, no answer. The kid's 3. He gets in the wagon and I pull him and we walk, but it's just, he's got his keychain, he's in his wagon.
Yeah.
We go, I got pictures, all that. Maybe I should give you some pictures so you can post some of this
Oh,
stuff.
please, please.
Okay. So we do this. We go to his shoulders are starting to slump, patience. He's a 3-year-old starting to feel it. We go to the third door and it starts to open. And immediately at that moment, I was like, because I know prospecting, I've cold called, I've gone door to door, I've done all these things. I know what it comes with. I'm like, I'm not facing it myself. I'm facing it through my 3-year-old. It's a different feel.
Absolutely.
And so the guy walks out. Emmett's smiling. He's happy. I'm going to get my Green Ranger. I'm Emmett, and I help people not lose their keys. And he shows him the keychain. And the guy looks at the keychain, and he looks at Emmett, and he says, and I'm Jim, and no thanks. I'm like, you heartless monster. He nailed it.
Yeah.
How do you sleep at night?
Yeah.
I get, but cold market. And before, as Jim said that, and it was, the message was being sent to Emmett. Before it hit Emmett, I jump in and I gasp and I'm like, oh, Emmett, did you hear what he said? And he looks at me, he gets distracted, he looks at me and he's like, no, what did he say? I said, he doesn't have a problem losing keys. So we can just go to somebody else that does. He says, oh, and he jumps in the cart, and this part wrecked me. We start walking away from the door. He turns back over his shoulder and he waves and he says, bye, Mr. Jim. Have a nice day.
Wow.
It's so easy to love those that love us. But to still love those that reject us, that's a sales professional.
Wow.
It's not always genuine. It's not always a feeling. I feel good, therefore I'll give good. It's also, there's some structure, there's some professionalism, and and these are just principles. So to love those that reject you is a skill. It's you're gonna feel stuff, and then you watch someone tell your 3-year-old that's next level, man. Someone can reject me, man. I had to work through that crap, but you're gonna talk to my 3-year-old that way?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's not just what was said, it was how it was said.
Man.
And so, but guess what? My 3-year-old is starting to feel some principles that will serve. If you understand, we're all one connection away from our next breakthrough, but we're so damn scared of making a new connection. But check this out. We're committed to this result, this outcome. We're going to get this Green Ranger. Trust me, this kid's freaking motivated.
Yeah, this is it.
Right? The how isn't always determined. The path isn't always clear. And it comes from where we don't expect. Okay? We're going door to door. We're talking to people door to door. And so naturally, I would think that, well, we'll do this strategy. It'll come from here. Emmett closed a sale that day, and it did not come from door to door. As we walked down that driveway, the bug truck pulled up across the street. Pest control.
Yeah.
And so like literally, it's crazy. Like just for a visual, sorry for everyone listening. I'll talk through it so you can understand. But we're walking down the driveway, and across the street, the bug truck pulls up. And as the person gets out of the car and we're leaving the driveway, it's like we're almost walking right into each other.
Yeah.
You know why we walked into each other? Because we took action that day. Because we went outside. Because we said, I'm not scared. I'm going to go do my daily minimums. And so as we locked eyes, I'm like, I guess we're going to go talk to the bug guy. And so Emmett gets out, he does his thing. He says, I'm Emmett and I help people not lose their keys. And he shows him the keychain. And as the pest control guy has keys in his hands, he kind of looks at his keys and he says, feels the situation. And he's like, well, how much for your keychain? And Emmett says, $3, please. And he gets the sale. He says, why not? And he pulls out $3 and he gives him the $3. He gives him the keychain and he completes the sale. Wow. And inside I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't know how this is going to go.
Let's go.
Is he going to like, yes. And so here, because we all, like everyone listening, we all know that there's not always the happy ending.
Yeah.
We all know there's those days, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, sometimes years where we're putting ourselves out there and it doesn't come back the way we expect. But in this journey through my 3-year-old Emmett going through this process, it happened for him. And so we take the money, we have a checking account jar, a give jar, and a save jar, and there's $1 for each of the jars. And so we had to do this a couple times, and he saved up his money, and we have these cool pictures of him getting the Green Power Ranger. And man, you talk about having a 3-year-old do all of that to get a Green Ranger, man. And then you buy it, and then you have to wait 2 days for Prime. Prime's fast, shout out to Prime. But it's like, I don't get it, meltdown after meltdown, but he's learning the process. And so that's the essence of my Green Ranger story.
Chris, I just want to say thank you for that exclusive story. You get the horn. Like, wow, Fonzie survived the sauna of the Green Ranger helmet. Wow. For those watching, he's just getting off that helmet. But wow, first off, incredible lessons, obviously, on the sales and business side. Like, it's incredible that you are able to tie those stories together. Second, great job at parenting, like #winning, like insane. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna, chop it up, plaster, like do my cheat sheet, because that's Luca. It's gonna do that. I don't care what my wife says, like he's doing that. And then, sorry, Katie, I know you don't listen to this episode, so I can say that. I'm kidding. I still love you. I love you. She's gonna listen to this episode, guys.
Hey, when your son is out there killing the game, man, and she's buying your wife, flowers and everything, she'll love it.
Yeah.
And wow, mind blown. I thank you for being so generous with your time, with your stories, especially this one. I am so glad that we waited all this time to do this, because now we're gonna record a pre-intro, and we're gonna be like, guys, like, you got to stay and listen to the Green Ranger story. Like, yes, absolutely.
Man, I love how you literally tied all the lessons that you shared throughout the entire hour into this one story. All of the lessons were in this one incredible story. So thank you so much for sharing it. I'm never gonna forget this story. I'm never gonna forget it.
Thank you, Chris. And let that be a lesson for everybody, please, on first storytelling, and then just getting the value out. Like, you're just giving without like any expectation, which is amazing. And that's through content. That's really how we've been able to connect with everybody, how you are able to connect with so many people. So go ahead, just scroll down, click in every single link that we're going to drop in the description, because I assure you, you're not going to regret it. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Chris.
We expect pictures of Emmett doing this thing.
Yes.
And incredible. Jose, Danny, team, please go ahead and 2 minute 67, and that's the thing that we need for the bonus. Thank you.
This part is amazing.
They know
man.
that.
Like, I honestly think we should kind of like prime people with the first part of the episode, and then be like, episode 101 is gonna be the Green Ranger story.
Oh, should we do that?
I think so. It's amazing, So Chris,
your guys,
you're gonna
master content minds. I'm just excited to see whatever
you're like, whatever comes out, man.
Chris,
that's what it is.
You might be, the last guest in the double-digit era of the Content is Profit, and the first guest on the triple digit of the Content is Profit era.
Yes.
All right, guys. Awesome. Chris, how can we connect with you? Is there another way other than the group, or is the group that we want, where we want to send people?
Group is a great way to get in touch with me. Another great place to find me is simply just private messaging me on Facebook specifically. And please, that situation is very active. And so what the magic word that you want to know is prospecting. If you private message me, use the word prospecting. That also can be a really quick, convenient way to getting those 8 magical questions. They're like literally like that's the give at the end of that. That's what it ends there. Have other questions or something, ask, but start with the prospecting piece.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Again, this was insane, amazing. Thank God I asked like how much we had available with you, and we crushed it. You crushed it. So it's insane.
Thank you so much.
With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button, and follow us on social media at BizBrosCo.
That's right. And if you find this episode impactful, which I am sure you did, it was amazing. Don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review. Thank you.
See ya.